Hello, traders. It is Sunday morning, October 4th, 2015, and here we go with another installment of the Weekend Trader, time when the markets are closed. One of the few times, given the markets are not quite 24/7, but getting close to it. Wouldn't surprise me if someday we start seeing Saturday trading. But I've always enjoyed doing this as much to talk to myself and refresh thoughts on the past trading week and heading into the next week, as much as connecting and reconnecting, really, in this case, with so many of you. It has been a joy at this end to reconnect, having been off the grid pretty much for the last couple years, off and on posting, but it has really allowed me to pursue some things and center myself a little bit. And now that I'm back on and with the Inquiry for Traders, it has been a joy to reconnect with some really good friends, really good peers. And it's been interesting in reading through a lot of the emails that have come in response to looking for traders. The various position that a lot of people are in. Maybe they are just starting out, maybe they have proven themselves, but the common theme, of course, is that everybody that I'm connecting with now is having a challenge getting access to capital. And to the extent that we can start correcting that a little bit, then all is well. And I've gotten everything from email tidbits to extended emails to a video to someone who's going to be trading a demo account. And I appreciate your indulgence. I appreciate your patience as we continue to walk through and enter into what hopefully will be a new world. Please be patient. This is something that's taken time, just putting feelers out at this point, and we'll move forward. One of the emails that I got from a good friend, I'll just read an excerpt from it. It says, just this past weekend, I finished Chronicles for the 5th time. Mine is highlighted, underlined, circled to the point of looking like a college textbook. Even the 3-day, 15-minute charts throughout the book reveal significant recurring patterns that just repeat over and over. MATD, morning after trend day. Days just jump off the page, and that was just a small piece of great email. Thank you, Chris. And it actually took me back a little bit too. I said I might start posting some tidbits from this. All this really is the story, a chronicle, if you will, of life and trading. And it's interesting as I go back now and look at it. A few of the things that jump off the page for me. And I'll just read this last paragraph. It's the very ending paragraph of the book. It's not really a spoiler alert. It's as much a prelude as it is an ending. But it still resonates with me, and I'll just read it to you. It says, as I mentioned when we first began this journey together, this is a true story that I hope showed that despite the tremendous imperfections of humanity, and this trader specifically, anything is possible when years of extreme dedication and motivation collide with that special window of opportunity where personal rhythm and external circumstances fully align. I also mentioned that if some of these words increase your perspective on life as much as they did on trading, we'll call it mission accomplished. Although I'll let time provide the ultimate verdict, and that's kind of going on now, I'm hopeful that these words have stirred your soul to diligently strive to maximize your gifts and talents and jump through that window of opportunity with full force when it appears, regardless of age, endeavor, or field, while keeping your successes in perspective and your friends and family far, far closer than your bank account. Is this a book about trading or life? I'll let you decide. That is on page 246 of Chronicles of a $1 Million Trader. So again, I'll go back to that from time to time, as much for my own edification and reminding myself that we never arrive in this business. We never do. But we are on our way. And I think that's something that we all have to acknowledge and be proud of. A lot of negativity in this business. Again, a very high failure rate in this business. But for those that cross that threshold, there's so much to learn about life through trading and trading through life. And when you cross over that line, and you'll find yourself, going back and forth over that line. I go back on the other side of that line. I become a bit more, off my game at times. I'm chasing. I'm distracted on this or that, and it's a continual attempt. It's a continual intending to stay on that other line. We've talked a lot about the missing inches. The rant that was a Pacino, I think it was. That's one of the videos on the site here. The missing inches, they're all over the place, and it's a constant needing to stay focused, to stay energetic, to stay engaged, and all that thing. So we don't make it and stay there, but we remain a work in progress. Many of you know I'm involved in various charitable activities, and I say that not to say yay, look at Don, but I continue to be involved in an effort called Walk to Emmaus. And I won't belabor what that is all about. Suffice it to say, it's a weekend reconnection, if you will. And one of the parallels, as we have these training sessions. We have about 6 or 7 of them leading up to the weekend where we put the retreat on for individuals. So one of the things we do is we practice our talks, and we listen, we critique each other, and make sure that the product is good at the end and intended as it should be. And as I'm going through that, as always happens to me, as life goes on, I'm thinking of parallels. And the one parallel that really stood out with me yesterday was the idea of as a trader, the need to surrender our will to that of the market, and to surrender control of our capital to the market. It is certainly trading is certainly all about timing. It's certainly all about finding that wholesale spot, whether you are a 5-minute chart trader and you're trading the channel back and forth, providing some liquidity, or whether you are trading a longer term pattern. The entries are always important, and it's always critical that one remain wholesale. We can look no farther back than Friday than a couple of days ago, where even I was on the wrong side of the trade. I was on that retail side of the trade for a very short period, thankfully early in the morning before I was aligning, understanding that the move actually was up, and trying to stay wholesale and align and stay in that trade as much as possible. So again, the entry, the wholesale concept is important. At the same time, it's as much, if not more, about once you are in, about surrendering your will to that of the market and not trying to impose your will in the market. And there's such great parallels between, again, trading and life, in terms of this is not about what we want to do. It's about aligning with the bigger cause in life. And that may not be what we are expecting going into the day or going into the sequence of trading or life. But it's important for us to recognize what that will is. What is the will of the market? Because we're not going to move the market by ourselves, folks. And we know that. But it's important to understand what the will of the market is. And if we can align with that, then we're aligning to the greater good in terms of trading, and we're certainly allowed to benefit from that. Similarly in life, if we try to align ourselves with what the greater will may be, we'll be in a much better spot. So again, I'm not trying to go all spiritual on you, but as I've always said, I am who I am, and it's because of my life experiences, many of which are documented in the book, that have allowed me to be able to have a podium such as this, and to try to do some good. Not again because I'm doing it, but just sharing some thoughts and lessons, and to the extent that that helps, great. But aligning ourselves with a will. Listening more than speaking. I got into a little bit of an issue myself on Friday in terms of chatting a little bit too much over the course of the day. That took as my coach will tell me, that took my focus away from trading in terms of the executions and the sizing. My sizing was way off on Friday. My early read was off. I was able to get with the flow, but my sizing, I'd rated a C. And so that's something I got a little distracted. I got talking to some traders, and that's something I really should not do. And so that's a lesson that I learned once again. But I do want to. I touch on this in the book a little bit in the beginning in terms of some of what I call the beginnings, which starts on page 13. And it talks about some of the early aspects of my life, and I didn't really go into a lot of this in spades, but I did mention some of the challenges I had, and I guess maybe I didn't talk about this one. I call these tunnels of life, right? Some of the early tunnels I had, and I thought actually I talked about this. Yeah. Missing half of my junior and senior high school years due to an unrelenting mononucleosis type virus. I was about 2 years, actually, from start to finish, some of which I actually missed school. And, I want to talk a little bit about that because it was part of my talk yesterday. And I'll just read this to you. It talks about discipleship. Basically, it says that disciple shows empathy, identifying with others both in their sorrow and joy. At my end, as I look back at the various setbacks I've experienced over life, I firmly believe that many of them were so I could relate to those who I would later find myself helping. A 2-year illness as a teenager would later help me counsel our diabetic daughter. A rough start to a second career that brought me to my knees would lead to success beyond my wildest dreams, a best-selling book, a mentor to others, and ability to fund various charitable causes. And then I go on to say, each time I hit rock bottom, and again, that's very well documented in the book, and literally cried out to God. And his response each time was that he handed me not only the life preserver, but the entire ship. And that is my way of trying to say that we are so small and so minuscule, both as people and as traders. And the greater will is just infinitely greater than we will ever understand. Why do things happen in life? Why do people have these rags to riches story? Why does the market start off on a Friday just completely tanking 1.5% based on what people feel about a jobs report, and then climb and end the day up 1.5%? Why do things happen to a far greater extent than we may ever be able to comprehend? And it's just the way it is, and I think it's the way that we're wired. I think especially those of us that think short term in terms of trading and in terms of life, it's very hard for us to step back and see that big picture. So one of the things I did not mention in the book, and I did not even mention, I did mention in the talk a little bit yesterday when I expanded on it, is when I was a teenager and I was going through that illness, I really contemplated taking my life. And it was such a depressing time for me because I was out of school for 2 years. All my friends were still at school. My high school basketball team was going on to championships, which I could not be a part of. It was just a very, very difficult road for me. And I did reach out, and I had answers given to me, and within about a 2-year period, it was slow, but regained my entire immune system, and really have never looked back. And that allowed me to work with my daughter as she was going through her challenges, and has allowed me to work with traders and lots of folks. Uh, Again, this is nothing about those of us that have figured things out, but it's those of us that have experienced certain things that it is our obligation to share. The analogy I'll leave you with is life is often one beggar telling another beggar where to find bread. In the case of trading and what we try to do here, it's and what others are doing. Trading is about one imperfect trader trying to tell another imperfect trader how they were able to do some things, and to the extent that sharing continues across the wonderful industry we have, I think that's a great thing. I've talked about that in recent posts, and again, I continue to applaud those who try to do some good sharing and do some good work here. It's a wonderful, crazy, frustrating industry that always certainly has me coming back for more, even if I might be off the grid for a little bit. But please be sure that I'm still here, still very active, and coming back with some new energy and hopefully a little bit of a new perspective. So I apologize if this went a little deep on you. It is a trading video, but I firmly believe that when you combine life and trading, each one becomes so much clearer, and each one you get one good at one, you'll get good at the other. And there's just no doubt in my mind we will always be working on our game. This will always be in progress. We will never have arrived, as I said, but we will be a work in progress, and that progress can continue to climb. So for whatever it's worth, if you still enjoy these, let me know. If you don't, let me know as well. I don't want to waste your time or my time. Life's too precious. But have a great trading week. We'll continue to pick things up on the trading side. I'm going to try to do as much talking, if not more talking, with my results than just setups, because I want this to continue to be real. But I need to do so in a way that puts me in the proper perspective, and that's always a difficult balance. It was a difficult balance when I wrote the book. It remains a difficult balance, showing and working in the world of legitimacy without putting yourself higher than you ever should be. So anyway, hope that helps. Have a great rest of the weekend. Patriots are off today. Whole NFL world is probably happy for that. Have a good weekend. We'll touch base this week sometime. Thank you. Take care. Bye.